Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm back from my lunch break, ready to continue on with the old SMG testing. There we go. All right, so I left off with the knight, and I was surprised that it carries its damage output pretty far. So it was something like, let me see. Look back through my notes here real quick. Yeah, so it was the knight was able to 3-shot destroy the head of a warrior at about 40 meters, which is farther than I expected. But it is an interesting distinction from something like the defender. The defender is able to 2-shot things, 2-shot warrior heads inside right at about 25 meters. And beyond that, it goes to 3 shots. But for the knight, it always takes 3 shots, and it can maintain that out to about 40 meters. And then similarly for the brood commander, it's like 9 shots inside 25 meters, and then somewhere around 40, 45 meters, it changes to 11 shots. So that's a pretty cool distinction. Their overall damage profile and fire rate is quite a bit different, you know, so it's pretty cool. I could go back. I guess I should go back and test the brood commander with the defender real quick before I move on all the way. This is mostly going to be terminate testing today, so I think I want to just get it all done. This kind of distinction is really useful because now I understand a little bit more why we have options like the 2x2 red dot sight. Because you wouldn't really want to be going over that distance if you don't have to, like more than 40 meters most of the time, I don't think. But the fact that it's possible when you can really line it up is pretty cool. It's like a nice secondary feature, I guess you might say, when it comes to damage output. All right, so let me just put the angle grip on here, maybe make this a little easier. Do I want muzzle brake? I'm so glad that they added sway as one of the details we can see now. That's really quite nice. I'll just put on the flash hider. That'll be a good compromise. Okay.
Let the enemy feel the wrath of liberty.
Maybe I should consider doing blitz missions just in order for me to keep a fire under my butt so I don't get sidetracked. Maybe later. We'll see. All right. Get the old supply pack, and then laser cannon, so I can clear extra enemies as necessary. EMS and more EMS. That should pretty much be everything. All right. Let's see what we can find about that upper limit. Let's see. So if the defender is inside 25 meters to, let me see here. We know 25 meters is a meaningful breakpoint, but I don't think I actually tested the Brood Commander yet, so I'll just have to find one and do it. Alpha Commanders have a little bit more HP.
Go now, and fear the shadow of neither death nor tyranny.
Yeah, they have a little bit more HP, like 50 more HP on their head, and they have like 200 more or 300 more main HP, something like that. Alright. I already hear stuff coming.
Deploying non-lethal payload.
That is a lot of smoke. 39 meters, 40, 1, 2, 3. Still a 3-shot kill at 40. I think I already had that logged. Ah, crap. They're moving too much.
Sending down sentry.
The easiest way to do this is definitely with POIs, though. Get away from my EMS sentry, you son of a bitch. Oh well. Let's go get back to the POIs. Rational Bass, how you doing? What other chat are you reading? Oh, I'm not reading another chat. I have my notes on my other monitor. So I was double checking my notes. Like if I look about this far off the screen, then I'm looking at the YouTube chat. If I look like real far to the left, then I'm looking at my notes on my other monitor. Okay. This might be a good opportunity. I get out to 50 meters if I can. 52, okay. One. I'm not sure if that first one hit, though. Dang it. 53. Stop moving so much. Still a 3-shot, it looks like. One thing I don't like about stun is that the way they move around like that. Like, I know it makes sense when you're stunned and dazed, you're kind of like wobbly and stuff. But I really don't like it. It just makes testing harder, you know? Yeah, dude. Of course. Because when you put stun on something like a bot enemy, they just like stay perfectly still, which is awesome. But against all the like organic enemies in the game, they like do the shaking around stuff, which I guess makes sense. But it's It's just annoying. Hey there, Dead Sec. Welcome back, dude. Pasta, huh? That sounds good. I had some burger and another cup of coffee. It was quite tasty myself, as well. Myself, I don't know. I guess I got that post lunch itis a little bit here. You know what I'm saying?
Tactical asset near your location.
All right. I need. So 50 meters. I mean, both of those. Unless I messed up the same exact way, it was what? There was still 3 shots to the head of a warrior. So that means it holds its damage out there pretty good. Ooh, is that a brood? It looks like we are in luck. All right. All right, so it was. I'm on the defender. So for the bile, or not the bile, for the warrior heads, it was about 25 meters where it changed from 2 shots to 3 shots. So let me do Brood Commander a little closer first, I guess. Oof, that's a lot of crap over there. I gotta do this quick. Let me get inside 20 meters if I can. Ah, damn it. Quit moving around, you bastard. I can't tell where those shots hit. Ah, it's so annoying. And he turned around. You... That's so annoying. I don't think I did any damage to this guy. His head looks like it's not been damaged. You would. You fucking would. God damn it. The game is not cooperating right now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was 7 shots at like 35 meters, something like that. Is that right? Nah, he must have already taken damage, I think. That can't be right. Oh wait, no, I hadn't tested it yet. That could be right. Never mind, what am I saying? Whoops. Change my controller real quick. Looks like there's a POI over here that I can hit. Hey, another commander. We're in luck. That's not a commander. That's a hive guard. Not in luck. Okay. Maybe over here. Alright, so 3 shots for the bile. For warrior bugs, it's 3 shots at 25 meters or beyond. Let's see if I can find another breakpoint then. Maybe 40 meters. Still 3 at 40, okay. Okay. Defender SMG is still, can't type. Still a 3-shot head destruction on warriors at 40 meters.
Mission at 30 minutes remaining.
I gotta stop this other group from sneaking up on me. Looks like that might be a brood commander over here. Hey, we are in luck. How about that? Alright, now I just need the damn thing to look at me.
Firing non-lethal payload.
Fuck, it keeps on doing that shit. Stop moving. 47. 2. God damn it. It summoned that shit in just the right time to fuck up all my testing. This is all a waste of my time now. Awesome. So I'll just... This is exactly the reason why I wish Arrowhead would normalize all of the enemy HP, armor values, and all that stuff across every difficulty. I appreciate them trying to ease people into things, but it really just... It isn't that meaningful, but it is annoying when you're trying to test stuff. There we go. Alright.
Terminate hive structure destroyed.
Alright, maybe this one will work out. Fuck, dude. All this shit keeps wandering up. They were not even there a second ago. I just looked at my flank. Dang it. These spawns, these ads are spawning in too fucking close, man. This is turning into be a real painful testing day. Getting annoyed. Alright, let's just go to... It's getting dark anyway. Let's get another planet. God damn it, Arrowhead. Why do you have to fucking make the armor and HP stuff different across difficulties? It's so stupid. Doesn't even make sense, because if you're trying to ease people into it, it's like the whole purpose of difficulty levels is that you're already changing the enemy composition and the enemy density and stuff like that, and increasing the amount of heavies and versus chaff and things. But if you just like kind of make their HP values worse, like lower at lower levels, then somebody jumps up to a higher level and they think they got it figured out. Well, now there could be like a meaningful like 10% difference or something, or certain armor penetrations no longer work, and they're like, well, what happened? I thought that it was what. So I fundamentally disagree with their decision to do that. And they only did it for Terminids, which makes it like, I don't know. I love the game, and I love, you know, the Arrowhead has made a lot of good things over time for this game, but that's just one of the decisions that I just can't get on board with. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it plays out the way that, in a way that's very helpful. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm trying to test stuff and it just turns it into more of a pain in the ass than it otherwise would be. It could be that too. I will put on that reduced signature armor though. For what it's worth, maybe it will help me, like Oblivious Naga was saying earlier. So somewhere, I'm going to try 50 meters this next time. I want to try and get a 50-meter shot on a Brood Commander head. See if that's the difference maker, because
History will remember your deeds this day.
let's see. Well, I could do Warrior as well, because that one, probably it's going to scale similarly across the different enemies, because the Warrior, it was still doing it at 40 meters, so if I could get either one of those at 50 meters, we might just say that's close enough. Do I grind for super credits? Not really. Early on, when the game first came out, I did a bit of grinding, but at this point I don't really. I just kind of play, and I check out all the points of interest and things like that. So the 1920, like I think I've bought 1 or 2 super credit packs from back in the day, but otherwise, yeah, like the 1920 super credits is just kind of between just playing and checking stuff out sort of normally, I guess you might say, and the refunds that they give in the normal war bonds, that's just kind of where it's at. But I play the crap out of this game, so, you know, I guess we might say that results are not typical if you're not playing a bunch. Yeah, playing normally you get 1,000 in a month or 2. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty chill. Pretty easy to do, I agree. We got a couple of things in there. I need a POI though. POIs definitely make this easier. I guess I'll go ahead and kill. Well, actually, I can't kill anything here because I don't have explosive grenades. Lol. I don't see any obvious POI looking things. Maybe over here. Yeah. Oh, here's a POI. Sounds like we got something big here too.
There's something here.
Deploying non-lethal payload.
One, 2, No, I think that one was a body. God, quit moving, you little shit. You're stunned. Why are you just looking around like normal? Fuck, that's so stupid. I don't understand why it's behaving like that, dude. It's making me question if stuns are just fucking broken.
Sending down sentry.
God damn, that's so annoying. I don't know why it's doing this so much today. I literally just hit you with a fucking stun grenade. How are you still moving? What the shit is going on? Dude, stuns are fucking broken right now. What, did you see that shit? What the fuck? God dang it. Yeah. Shit. I'm gonna try my best to just make it happen. Come on, come on, come on. Crowding me out.
Firing non-lethal payload.
One, 2, 3, 4. 54 meters at least is one of the thresholds. Missed. I'm just gonna say like 50 meters it turns into a 4-shot. That one was kind of good, but the spawns right now and stun things are just not cooperating with me today. Okay. Yeah, why isn't he getting stunned? Maybe I just missed. Maybe he got hit by the stun's outer radius and it just wasn't enough. I mean, Alpha Commanders are on the bigger side, so he probably has a higher stun threshold. I'll have to test it and see exactly what that is. I'll bring in either the pacifier or the pummeler. I know they deal 2 stun per shot, so I can just plink at them one at a time until they get stunned, and then I'll know exactly what their threshold is. Gotta test it on a PC. Yeah, wait. Heavies need 2 stun grenades to get stunned. Yeah, let me check the wiki and see, because I don't like the wiki doesn't always list their stun threshold. Some enemies they do. But, I mean, you can find out, like I said, knowing the individual stun point accumulation from things like the pummeler or the pacifier. And then even, like, stun grenade. Let me see what are stun grenades. Stun grenades do the large stun duration of 5 seconds, and they deal 25 points of stun. They have an inner radius of 1 meter and an outer radius of 10. So that probably means that the stun also scales as you go out to the outer radius of 10. So I'm going to guess that the Brood Commander tier of enemy has a stun threshold of like either right at 25 or at 20. And so if it was more than a meter away, then there may have been enough stun fall off that it wasn't enough to stun him in one. So that's probably what's happening. That might be what happens with the heavies as well. I don't know. Interestingly, the urchin grenade, it also deals the large stun, but it only has a status accumulation of 10 per Oh, hey, look at that. Let's just test this bitch. I'd say that was a full stun. You just have to have it land right on top of him. Don't you think? Or maybe it's because it hit him in the ass and the ass is more vulnerable than the front? No! Yeah, I mean, for sure if it's stunning him on the backside toward his butt, it's able to do it in one, as long as it's close enough. That looks pretty obvious, I think. Nah, dude, that was pretty far out in front of him, actually. 10 meter, that was definitely out of range, and that stunned the shit out of him, so... Chargers, regular chargers at least. Yeah, maybe it was just a glitch with that Brood Commander. I'll have to try it again. Charger leg meta never left, baby. It just became less absolutely necessary. Melt the minds, make make them question their life choices. Dude, melt the minds make everything question their life choices. You know what I'm saying? Melt the minds are so funny to use. I like them. Alright, we got one dude by himself here. I'm gonna take advantage of that real quick. Try and get... of course, look at this. Look, the RNG gods are against me. He's facing this way, but if I go this way... Let's see if I can actually get into a good vantage point because of this dang trench. Okay, okay. Be quick about this. 47 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4... Alright, I'm going to say at 45 meters, approximately 45 meters, the defender goes from a 3-shot head kill against the Warriors into a 4-shot head kill. That's a pretty... I mean, that's right where I would expect it to be as well. Let me write that down. Alright, so defender, SMG... shifts from 3-tap headshot destruction on warrior to a 4-tap at right at about 45 meters. What did I title this thing? Oh, combat roll video. Yeah. I have a handful of videos that I've made where I basically am ranking weapons and equipment by their main combat role. So like if you take for example, if you take a marksman rifle as your primary versus if you take a shotgun as your primary, right? You don't expect those to perform the same way and to do the same main task, to be good at the same things, right? So with a marksman rifle, you want things to stay farther away, so the combat role, like say with like the diligence, is like a mid-range, precision, high damage per shot, like marksman style, versus a shotgun is more of a short-range, aggressive and defensive weapon because it has a lot of stagger. It deals, you know, you can shoot the heads off of things in close range pretty good, stuff like that, right? So I assess them for their main strengths and weaknesses and where you can get the most value out of each weapon. So people can have a better idea of where they fit inside their loadout and if it plays the way that they want to play, you know. I know I don't need to destroy this mushroom spore spear, but I want to. You know what I mean? All right.
Giant hive structure destroyed.
Oh, is that a brood? Is that a brood? Yeah, and he's looking the... Is he looking the wrong way? He's got his butt facing me. Oh yeah, well we do need to test... What was it I said? I needed to test the stun. So far, it looks like most of these breakpoints are scaling pretty consistently. I honestly might not spend any more time trying to get the exact meter breakpoint for the Brood Commander, because if we can save between, you know, 40 and 45 meters for the Warrior, and it's been similar for the other breakpoints across things so far, it's probably going to be the same here, because the drag factor on SMGs are pretty much all the same, I think. I'll double check that before I, you know, sign off on it, but I think that's pretty safe bet. Most of them have a drag factor of 120%, if not all of them. Suppressed might be a little bit worse, but yeah, so far, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. I just looked at half of them real quick there in my side browser, and they were all 120% drag, so the scale should be the same, just be a function of their damage per shot at that point. Okay, yeah, I must have just missed that stun, because this time he got staggered for sure. Alright. Well, that's good to know. I was so annoyed earlier. Okay, let's see. Let me just double check those other SMGs real quick. Let's see, 120, 120, 120. Most, the other difference between SMGs and like all weapons really is they don't all have the same initial velocity. So initial velocity and drag factor are the two biggest components of how far a bullet travels before it loses however much damage. But also, so it's the damage per shot, the drag factor, and the initial velocity. But they also, as far as I know, they also have a calculation based on the mass of the projectile, because Arrowhead includes that in their physics calculations, to my knowledge. And so if you get different projectiles that are the same mass, that can also make it change a little bit. But for the most part, these things all kind of have damage fall off in the same rough distances, which makes things a little bit easier for running these kinds of calculations and testing. Let's see. All right. Yeah, all right. I feel pretty good about that. And then see, what was it? Yeah, the stun works, so Warrior Head, let's see, inside 25 meters was 2 shots, 25 to about 40 was 3, and then once you get above 40, 45-ish, it took 4 shots. What did I write down for the... Brood Commander? I forgot to write down the Brood Commander. I know the one example I did around like 35 meters was 7 shots. I'm going to have to do that again because I forgot. Or I could try and scale it based on my numbers so far. Which would be... For the night, the Brood Commander was 9 shots at about 25 meters. And then at 45-ish meters, it took 11 shots. So somewhere between 25 and 45, it shifts from 9 to 10 and then on up. So it's probably about the same. Okay. How's the performance on PS5? Sometimes it lags on the Series X during heavy fights. Honestly, dude, like, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm on the PS5 Pro specifically, so it's got a little bit of extra horsepower under the hood. And one of the updates that they did not too long ago was specifically for the PlayStation's like custom upscaler, the PSSR, and specifically PSSR 2 support was added, which is what the PS5 Pro can take advantage of. And honestly, man, since like it already ran pretty good, it would only get some slowdowns and stuff in the heaviest scenes. But since that update for the PS5 Pro with the PSSR 2 support, like it's been super clean. Like it's real nice. Like it runs, unless they change something or I missed a patch, it runs at 1440p and targets 60 FPS, and it seems to be hitting that number pretty consistently. Yeah, dude, it's real nice. So, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it is considered, I guess, a Sony first product since it's published by PlayStation Studios or whatever. And the Sony consoles, the PS5 and PS5 Pro, with them putting in all that extra work on their custom upscaler and architecture, like it's paying off. People were skeptical at first, but it's pretty nice, dude. It's pretty nice. If you have a 4K capable TV with HDR, man, this stuff looks super good. Like for my stuff here, like I think I have everything set to scale, and like I output like 1440p to YouTube, because that's just what my computer can handle. I can't do 4K with my setup, but I mean it still looks pretty nice. I think so. But yeah, when you're playing on the PS5 Pro, dude, it's nice. It's yeah. I'm very pleased. Okay, so that's the Defender. Right, make a quick note here. Dang it, I'm gonna have to just do it again. Did you notice the weapons are a little zoomed in the armory? Huh. Oh yeah, they are a little bit larger looking, huh? Wonder when that changed. I wonder if it just depends on the type of weapon it is, because the rifles are a little bit zoomed out. Of course, they're just like a larger thing. Maybe it's based on the size of the gun or the class of the gun. That's a good observation, though. Yeah, you're right about that, I think, for sure. Well, looky there. Well, maybe it's just one of those minor tweaks that they decided to do, you know, for whatever reason. I do like the design of the hyena. That's pretty nice. Okay. I need to get at least one clean case for that.
Every sector in the galaxy must be purged of the alien menace.
I just gotta do my due diligence. Yeah, I saw that sweeper animation. That was interesting. I wonder if they're just kind of slowly rolling out like all of the animations or something, and they just started with the sweeper. Because, you know, sometimes they drop in little things like that and just kind of let the community notice, which I think is pretty cool. I know some people get like real upset about it, and they lied to us and they didn't tell us in the patch notes. It's like, dude, get the fuck over yourself, man. Like, it's not that serious. Oh no, they got the wrong gun. Maybe that's me being too harsh, but I just don't find a lot of things like that to be that super serious. I like the discovery sometimes, you know? Alright, I need one brood commander by itself so I can kill it at like 20 meters or something. I want to confirm the number of shots it takes, and then I'll move on. I don't see... Oh, I do see. Yeah.
Firing non-lethal payload.
25 meters. 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. 7 shots inside 25 meters. No. Crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still 7 at 31 meters. All right, it's probably the same. Wait a second. That was like 18 meters. So it might be more... Oh, maybe I need to get in close and confirm. That might... Let me get inside 15 meters, because that's also oftentimes a meaningful breakpoint. Ah, son of a bitch. It's too much trash coming at me. Should have handled them first. Okay, so, what did I say? Out to at least 30, like 25 and 30 meters, it was 7 shots to kill and to break off the head of a brood commander, right? That's what I saw. Okay, I need a brood commander. I need to probably kill these things. The enemy marker is center mass, right? Won't the head be closer than the marker? It might be a little bit, but pretty much all the enemies stuff works that way. So, as an approximation, I'm good with it being kind of close enough, you know. Because it would be pretty tough to get like the exact one. So all of these are, it's kind of like margin of error, like plus or minus 2 meters, right? Yeah. Got to work within the limitations of what the game does afford us to do, which, you know, it's not like I have to be super precise. I mean, I would like to be, but as long as we're, I would say, within 5 meters of accuracy, then I think it's going to be plenty helpful on average. Because this is like the we get those as precise as we can at the extreme ranges, and then that tells us we can be pretty confident in like this is the average engagement distance that you want to be in. And whenever you have that figured out, like the super precise extreme ends don't matter as much most of the time. It's getting hazy. Okay, so like 25, 30 meters with 7 shots to break its head off. So it might be a little bit less if I'm inside 15 meters, and then it should take more if I go out to like 45 or 15 meters. Probably one more shot, if I had to guess.
There's something here.
No brood commanders that way. It's getting kind of dark on this daggone planet. I just need... I'm gonna head toward this outpost. There'll probably be a brood commander there. Yeah, the thing that's interesting about these SMGs is that not only do they have more drag factor that limits their effective range in terms of damage fall off, but they also have much lower starting velocities compared to like assault rifles. Most of the assault rifles have a starting velocity around like 700 or 800 meters per second. But SMGs are usually like 285. So it's pretty cool the way that Arrowhead designed all this because it lets... Oh, that's a stalker lair. I'm surprised it hasn't activated.
Enemy tactical asset within threat range.
It's pretty cool that they designed it this way because it means that they have like at least 3 or 4 variables that they can tweak to adjust the damage fall off. I don't have anything I can use to blow this up. So that lets them really fine-tune things like damage fall off, which is pretty awesome. And then you also have like angles of deflection that can come into play as well. Stoker and Gallant are the only SMGs you maxed out. Knight is going to be next. Okay. I know the Stoker is a big fan favorite. What do you think about the Gallant? I've got it leveled up to like level 14 or something like that.
Deploying support weapon. Sending down equipment package. Terminate hive structure destroyed.
Alright, there ought to be a brood commander over here somewhere. It was fun during the Spore Burst MOs, but didn't use it after that. The Stoker is more fun to use. I see. What was it that made you like it against a Spore Burst a lot? The Gallant, right? You said the Gallant. Okay, I don't see any Brood Commanders. Oh, there is a Brood Commander. You should be dead, dude. That's some bullshit. Alright, I'm pretty sure that was 6 shots inside of 15 meters, because 2 of those missed.
Mission at 30 minutes remaining.
Let me just check real quick here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 6, because that one hit the limb. I think that hit the limb. Wish I could slow it down a little bit more. Yeah. Pretty sure. Actually, let me do it this way. Thoughts on testing so far, and the stream looks pretty good so far. Thank you for that. I have the output set to 1440p, 60 FPS, and it should be adapting everything either. I don't remember if I was like tone mapping it from HDR to standard or from standard to HDR, something like that. I forget. But yes, my general thinking and hypothesis, my current like opinion on SMGs is that most of them are going to be getting their best mileage, best usage out of about inside of about 25 meters. If it's a higher RPM submachine gun, then more of the close range, like 15 meters or closer, is going to be really good because you can really let it rip with a higher RPM. But if it's one of the lower RPM SMGs, then you really probably want to keep it 15 meters and farther out to around maybe 30, 35 meters. That seems to be working pretty good so far. Five. Yeah, there it is. Shot him in. That's either the body or the limb, but that's not hitting his head. That's what it looks like to me. Does it look like it to you? Can you see that? Pretty sure, anyway. Wish I could. Let me just do a little trimming here. Okay, and then I'll just do the time bender. That'll make it easier. Aiming at the leg. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that hits the leg or the body. It's not the head, so that would be 6 shots inside at close ranges. Do this. No, it's all right, man. Don't worry about it. I guess I could go and do one more test, but I feel pretty good about it. Actually, let me just run a damage calculation instead, I guess. You're getting Machinery of Oppression title page. I am? I wasn't even paying attention. I guess only PC players got the new title page. Nah, I was getting the new Illuminate one, with all the squid stuff. I didn't even notice that the Machinery of Oppression title page happened. Although I will say I did notice earlier today or yesterday at some point when I logged in, there was like a big purple question mark issue somewhere when I logged in. So maybe there was just some kind of wonkiness going on. Let's see. Yeah, pretty sure 6. Okay, so crunching some numbers here. 200 HP for the head, 60% durable. Okay, well, whatever. So we got the 65% penalty, and then the durability split. So it should be about 37 damage per shot before damage fall off. So that would be like 5.5 shots. So it should be 6 shots. So yeah, inside about 15 meters, 6 shots. So that's about, which is about what I predicted. So that's good. Inside 15 meters, it was 6 shots to break the head. Root Commander. You can see the icon. It's still Machinery of Oppression. Which icon? You talking about? Oh, you mean the tile icon for here? I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, since I'm having a hard time getting the precise breakpoint, though, I'm gonna guess that based on most of how everything operates, like if you're inside 15 meters and you shoot it in the head, it's gonna die. It's gonna break the head of a Brood Commander, specifically a Brood Commander, off in 6 shots. And once you get above 15 meters, you can expect 7 shots, all the way out to, what do we say, like 45 meters. Most of the time, people are probably not going to notice. They're just going to be doing 7-shot kills to the head of a Brood Commander. Once you get up to an Alpha Commander, that might change by 1 bullet because they're a little bit of a tougher enemy. But the scaling is probably the same. Yeah, that's not bad at all, honestly. Like that seems pretty nice. Let me think here. So yeah, I think the safest bet would be like you can bet on it to hit all those meaningful breakpoints out to, let's say, 40 meters, maybe 45. If you have a direct hit and you're not like glancing from an angle or whatever, right? So that's pretty good. versus things like assault rifles. You know, they hold on to their damage output. Even though, for example, like the Liberator, it does less damage per shot, it has much better damage fall off, so it's gonna hold on to that damage out to that range and farther. Yeah, you know, hold on to it for longer, which is kind of where the distinction comes between things like assault rifles and submachine guns. Oh yeah, the champion of the people helmet. Hell yeah, dude. Never used the Defender. Is it good? I like it a lot. I think it's a really solid, like all-around capable submachine gun. You know, it's one-handed. It's got pretty good damage, and it slots in your loadout pretty good as a jack-of-all-trades one-handed submachine gun. You can't one-shot like Devastator heads with it, but a lot of the other major breakpoints, like kind of if you consider all of the factions where you would want to bring this, it's very versatile, right? So it's not highly specialized at any one thing, but it's very versatile and you can use it effectively against most things. So that's kind of where its strength is at, which makes sense because this comes with the base game, the first, you know, the base game Warbond. So that's kind of what you would expect from something like that, I think. Yes, that's the pummeler. This is the one that has the stun rounds capability. So let me check my notes here. All right, so inside, it makes me wonder. Well, I'm not going to worry about that too much. The breakpoint differences between warriors and brood commanders is notably different. The warrior head doesn't seem to have the same like point blank like 15-meter threshold as the brood commander, at least not on the head. It might be more of a difference on the body shots because I'm not testing all of the body shot mechanics right now, because that adds a ton more work. I might just do like math calculations or something. We'll see. The trouble with doing like the math stuff is we don't know exactly how the damage fall off scales, so it's more practical for the big stuff like headshots. It's more practical to just test it in game, and then I can kind of like extrapolate from there to body shots and stuff. Squids need more enemy variants based on difficulty. Well, I mean, they just expanded it, you know, so I expect that we'll see more variations coming along. I'm a pretty big fan of the fact that they at least separated out mindless masses to be predominantly voteless. I wish that they would make it even more like voteless oriented. Like, no, I would like it to just have like nothing but voteless. Maybe voteless and flesh mobs. I wish it could just be all voteless and flesh mobs, even at Super Helldive. That would make me super happy. But that's because I like zombie stuff, you know. Okay, so Defender's pretty much done with the Terminids, and I already did the Knight, right? The Knight could have faster. Okay, what about? Let me just. Okay. Vote Snatchers was the true undead horde faction. Vote Snatchers was very much Dead Space and Silent Hill inspired, whereas the mindless masses were like your more traditional zombie mode, I think. And then they mixed them. By the end of it, they were mixing them all in there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, seeing all those at once, I agree. That was pretty fucking rad. So just crunching the numbers, the Knight SMG should also be able to take the head of a Brood Commander off in about 7 shots, so like inside 15 meters. I didn't actually test that part, but I did test it at that 25-meter threshold, which means it, and that was at 9 shots, and so on and so forth. So I feel pretty confident that it's going to follow the same thing. They are all still dead. Well, I guess the voteless are mutated and mind controlled. They're not exactly dead. I guess Vote Snatcher. Well, I mean, it's not all 1-to-1 because they have to keep them legally distinct. Technically, everything in the Illuminate stuff is all like mutated humans, whereas in classic zombies they are dead, reanimated into zombies, and then Dead Space the necromorphs are completely dead. They're just like mutated and mangled and being controlled by the space voodoo magic entity or whatever. Do I have all the war bonds in Superstore? Yeah, I do have all of the stuff. Yeah, this is my main account, so this is the one that's got all the bells and whistles on it. Let's see. So we got the night done. I'll go ahead and switch over. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, punching in my notes here real quick. Give me just a second. Okay. The Brood Commander. Headshot destruction with the Defender was 7 shots, I think, right? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. So the overall to be sub 15 meters, then 25 meters, and 40 meters or so. Okay. All right. Let's move on to, I guess we'll do the Stoker next, huh? Put the old red tube on it. Actually, I might just do this one, actually. Yeah. A little bit nicer. Got YouTube Premium. Hope that helps the... Oh, okay. Helps till you reach 1K subs. Also, would be cool if you make vids on patch updates or major story beats. Okay, well, hey, man, I appreciate that. I'll, yeah, I've done I've done a couple of the patch note things, but I think as live streams, and I think the last one I forgot to switch it from unlisted to public, so I kind of screwed it up. But yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna try and make it more of a dedicated video thing now that you mention it.
Let's decide what to enter the fray.
Complete. Coordinates locked. Hellpods primed.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that. Looks like a hot drop, maybe. Before I drop in, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. Will the combat roll video have other weapons too? Oh, yeah. So I've already completed a dedicated combat roll video for the marksman rifles, assault rifles, and for shotguns. You should be able to find those on my channel. Although they were all made before this most recent update, so they don't include things like the short magazines. The rest of it should still be fairly accurate, though.
The uncontrolled spread of the Terminids ends today.
Deploying support weapon.
Oh yeah, the hyena one was pretty cool. I'm pretty fond of that weapon. How do you like it so far? Let's see, usually there are...
Structure destroyed.
Oh, would you look at that? The Stoker doesn't have anything other than full auto. I did not know that. Well, at least I didn't remember that. This optic looks weird. Huh. That seems a little weird to me. Like I'm sitting so far back from the optic. Like the Hyena a lot, and with True Grit, yeah, that really makes having a perk like that can make a really big difference. Ah, this is the Bile Seed. I don't wanna. I don't like that optic either. Not on that gun, at least. That doesn't seem like it's fitted correctly or something. Maybe it's physically more forward? Well, we'll see.
Choose where to join your fellows in righteous liberation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, you can customize the Hyena to be like 40 or 41 ergonomics by itself, and then you add on True Grit and it bumps it up by another 20, which is real nice. I want to be able to pop bug holes, so I'll put this one on here. I probably won't get to the other factions today. It's already about 3:30 p.m. here where I'm located, so probably what I'm gonna do is try and get through the rest of these guns on Terminids today, and then I'll probably hit up automatons tomorrow, and then the squids the day after that. Something like that. It, you know, depends how long it ends up taking.
Deploying support weapon.
Whether or not the enemy spawns and all that stuff cooperate with me, you know. A lot of work. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, homie. It is a lot of work. I do kind of like it, though, you know, honestly. It's kind of fun to do, getting into the weeds like that. And even though the testing can sometimes be frustrating whenever stuff like doesn't cooperate, it is a little bit more relaxing compared to doing a bunch of like super Helldive missions all the time. You know? It's just me out here in the wild. It reminds me of like going out, like I grew up on a farm, so it kind of reminds me of going out and like taking care of garden work or taking care of the cattle or chopping wood, or where it's just kind of, it's pretty quiet, you know what I'm saying? Like it reminds me of that whole vibe, which I find enjoyable. Because as long as I'm having fun, then it's a win in my book, you know what I mean? Fuck you, overgrown bug. Okay.
Permanent outpost destroyed.
You saw nothing. Alright, there's one more small dude over here, and then I'm gonna go and beat up this brood commander. Ooh, he might see it. Yeah, we're good. He didn't see anything. He did see it. That's okay. Come here, ugly. 5 shots at, what was that, like 10 meters or less? All right. Stoker versus Brood Commander. Inside 10 meters. Shit, what did I say? I already forgot, dude. My brain. Was that 5 shots? God damn it. Let me look. Yeah. Man, sometimes I just space out, dude. I don't even know. Alright. Well, that was a good test. Let's move on, see if I can't push it out. We'll try about 20 meters for this next one. Shit. I misfired there. I'm not sure what that was. I'll have to try again. Top 5 games of all time? Oh, man. Ooh, that's a good question. I first started playing games when I was a boy, and I started out on the Atari, and then we had the Nintendo, and then Super Nintendo, and I had PlayStation, and PS2, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and then I've had the Xbox One, and I did have a Series X for a while, and of course I've had the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. So across all those games and consoles and stuff, let me think. Immediately, one game that I think might be my all-time favorite, if for no other reason than I played it whenever I was a kid, is The Legend of Dragoon for PlayStation 1. It came out around the same time as like Final Fantasy VII, and so it kind of got overshadowed, but in a lot of ways it was just as good, if not better, than Final Fantasy VII in my opinion. Actually, a modern game that's real similar to The Legend of Dragoon. I can type it in there for you. It's a PS1 game from like 97 or 98, something like that. It's an RPG turn-based thing, you know, like was common back then. Ooh, this might be a good opportunity. Oh, you son of a bitch. Well. 2 shots as expected. I think a modern game that's very similar to Legend of Dragoon is Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 Claire Obscure, because on the Legend of Dragoon it was turn-based, but you also had inputs to increase the damage for your attacks in the middle of your attack sequence. And that's something that Claire Obscure Expedition 33 does as well. It's much more complex, right? But in a lot of ways, I feel like Expedition 33 took some inspiration from games like Legend of Dragoon. At least with the combat system, the way that it works, which is pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. You've been gaming since the 90s too? Hell yeah, dude. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that one had, man, that game, it had some like pre-rendered CGI cutscenes, and then, you know, this typical graphics for the PS1 era, but had like the little interactive attack sequences inside of the turn-based system and things like that. The story was good, you know, had that swords and magic and dragons and stuff. And yeah, it was a good one, man. It was definitely like my childhood favorite. Two shots at 24 meters. Okay. Stoker is 2 shots to head break the warrior at 24 meters. You can count a franchise as one game, by the way. Yeah. Unfortunately, Legend of Dragoon, it did not get a sequel. Like, I think it was originally supposed to, and then it got canceled. Like, I guess it didn't perform as well as they wanted. And a lot of people seem to think that's because it came out too close to Final Fantasy VIII. Because, you know, the Final Fantasy games, those are huge. I like those too, actually. The first Final Fantasy I played was Final Fantasy VIII. So I was like an edgy, like 12-year-old or something back then. So I'd wear a bunch of black clothes as much as I could to match the main character, Squall, Leonhard, on that one. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, brother. Okay, let's see. I need to do more warrior testing outside of 24 meters, because inside it seems like, let's see, because those have like 150 hit HP, so no matter what, it's going to be 2 shots. I need to find the break point where it's not able to 2-shot them, which is probably going to be around 40 meters, I would guess.
Objective located.
Terminate hive structure destroyed.
Oh, look at that. How convenient. 3 shots to break. 2 shots at 40 meters. 3 shots at like 45, I think.
Firing non-lethal payload.
I can't even see the dude. It's too smoky. There we go. He's not facing me though. Yeah, I can't tell. I'm just gonna say like 45-ish meters. And all of these values, I'll just make the broad disclaimer that it's like plus or minus 5 meters because, you know, whether you're in first-person view versus third-person view, and how big the body is versus the tag and everything like that. Yeah, it's close enough. Based on how many times you played, your top 5 are Witcher 3, Arkham Trilogy, Hitman, GTA 4, and Helldivers 2. Yeah, dude. Dude, the Arkham games, man, those were so freaking good. Man. Yeah, you forget how good some of these... There's so many good games over time. Like, I never tried Hitman. I played one of the GTAs. Which one was it? I don't remember which one I played. Never got too much into all of them. I think it was like on the PS2. Maybe it was like... Yeah, gosh, I don't remember. Witcher 3 I've tried to get into. It's just I just haven't cared for it as much. It looks really cool, and the story and lore, from what I have like read about and stuff, is pretty freaking awesome. I just had a hard time getting hooked by the gameplay.
Never mind.
55. Oh, not quite. Ah, he's just not quite looking at me. How unlucky.
Objective critical stratagem available.
Oh, he's looking at me. Perfect. All right. 2 shots at 50 meters. This thing is holding on out there. That's pretty good. I do start seeing the bullet drop, though. I don't know if you noticed that, but the bullet drop starts to get pretty noticeable.
Cancel that.
Four shot to the body. Yeah, even like this close to it, the bullet drop is already kind of becoming a little bit more of an issue. If you need to be real precise, you have to start adjusting for some of that.
Stratagem no longer available.
In real life, it gets kind of... It depends a little bit on if you're using a pistol caliber or a rifle caliber, because you can... Well, how would I put this? And I would probably need to do a refresher because it's been a while since I've been like super gun nut mode, even though I used to be real hardcore into it. Like pistol caliber rounds, like 9mm rounds and stuff, like they tend to just fly more slowly. Like you have to put like more powder in the cartridge, if I remember right, just because of the shape versus like a 5.56 round that you would see in like an M16 rifle or something like that, like an AR-15 platform. Like those are designed, like those are smaller bullets and they're more like pointed shape basically, so they fly through the air more easily. So the difference is like a rifle round is like if somebody shoots you at like 100 meters with a rifle round, it's more likely to like, they're both gonna suck, right? But the rifle round, assuming these are full metal jacket and you're not using hollow points or anything like that, a rifle round is gonna pierce through your body more easily, whereas a pistol caliber round, it's gonna feel a lot more like somebody just punched you with a hammer or like hit you with a hammer, just because of the shape, and the bullet speed is gonna be slower by the time it reaches you. So the overall kind of force distribution is different. Like even if you were in closer ranges, like, you know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of physics involved when it comes to ballistics, like the shape of the bullet, the amount of powder in the cartridge, all that kind of stuff makes a difference. How accurate it's going to be, a rifle is going to be more accurate farther out because of the bullet shape, generally speaking, because it's more aerodynamic kind of. But I mean, you can still, like Jerry Misulek is one of he's like, I don't know if he still is, but at one time at least he was like the world championship like competitive shooter guy. And he made like a 1,000 meter or 1,000 yard or some kind of thing, some kind of absurdly ridiculous long range shot with a revolver, like a 9mm revolver or something like that. And you know, it was a tricked out big old pistol that he had or whatever, and he had a scope on it and all that kind of stuff, you know, which is like kind of ridiculous, but it's for fun, you know. I mean, you see stuff like that, and so it's possible to make shots like that even with pistol calibers. How practical is that going to be? I mean, you know, that was more of an exhibition. That's why you don't see pistol calibers really get used in like combat rifles and stuff. Like there's a reason why pistol calibers are pistol calibers, because you're just going to get more punch and more use out of them in closer ranges, like inside 50 feet, 25 feet, something like that usually. And then outside of that, you know, the precision starts to kind of fall off because of the shape of the bullet. And you have a smaller barrel, which means it doesn't have as much like spin on it, so it can't, like there's a lot of there's a lot of physics that go into like weaponry and like bullets and how they work basically. So I guess in a general like conceptual way, they work pretty similar to how you see them behave inside the game. In the strictest realistic way, no. No, they're not. I hope that kind of helps, you know. Because, like, for example, you can use like if you have a full size shotgun and you have a slug round in it, then you know you can easily make a 50-yard, 50-meter, 100-meter, 100 yards, whatever, shot with it if you're careful about it, you know. And it's not like if a person or like a critter, if you shoot something with a slug round, it gets torn in half, basically. Like inside 50 meters, for sure, you're gonna tear something the size of like a large dog in half, right? So like these terminids type things would be getting absolutely ripped in half if you shoot them with a slug round at like 50 meters. Realistically, you could do that out to 100 meters. Like, we used to, like I grew up on a farm and we had chickens, and so out in the country we had, you know, there were predators and stuff. And so sometimes we would have to shoot stuff that was getting after the chickens. And my dad would use a slug shotgun depending on the stuff. I remember there were, I don't remember all the different things, but you know, you shoot something the size of a dog at like 60 yards, 60 meters-ish, and it would just get split in half. You know what I'm saying? Like, slug rounds have a tremendous amount of force. And, you know, some of the stuff here with damage fall off is very much for the purposes of gameplay balance. Because the reality is, like, if you have something like a super destroyer in this game, you're not going to send ground teams in very much to do anything. You're just going to blow everything up from orbit, you know. And with the different guns and stuff, a lot of it is for gameplay purposes and gameplay balance and things like that, you know. There's certainly a place for infantry, even in modern like warfare. Like you definitely got to have infantry troops and like boots on the ground, you know, don't get me wrong. But they have to maintain a delicate balance between sort of like realistic or believable stuff versus just it's a game and you gotta make everything still fit inside the sandbox, you know. But in a very general conceptual way, things do work. They kind of map onto stuff pretty good. All right, what was I doing? Got real sidetracked thinking about that. Let's see. All right, Stoker. I don't think I found the break. I didn't find the breakpoint yet for the Stoker versus the Warrior Head or the Brood Commander, because it was still two-shotting the Warrior Head at like 45 meters, right? Is that what I found? Do you remember? Yeah, dude, like bullets are rough, man. Like, I caught a ricochet round one time from a 5.56 rifle, and I got lucky that it didn't hit me in the neck. It hit me in the forearm, and my entire forearm from wrist to elbow was bruised and swollen for a week. And that was from a ricochet hitting me, dude. I got lucky that it wasn't, you know, worse or a direct hit or hit me somewhere else other than my forearm. Getting shot sucks. Getting stabbed and cut and like all that kind of stuff, like, you know, those things, like, that stuff sucks, man. Like, firearms are called the Great Equalizer for good reason, because it doesn't matter how tough you are physically. If you get shot, you're fucked. You know? Well, let me go over here and see. Maybe there's a Brood Commander on this section. I'm gonna have to start bringing the jump pack. I don't think I really need this supply pack. I mean, I'll just... Oh, you know what I should do? I should just bring the supply FRV. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. Just drive around. That'd be the easiest. That was 2 to the head. 2 to the head at 35. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna say like somewhere around 45, 50 meters is whenever that drop off is gonna happen enough. It's interesting that none of them have detected me though. This armor is real nice. The FRV nerf. Oh, are you referring to the enemies attacking the FRVs now? I'm not here, you don't see me. These are not the droids you're looking for. Okay, well, I don't see any brood commanders here, so that's a bust. Yeah, that is a bummer. Because didn't they say they tried to make it, like the design intention is supposed to be the enemies won't target the vehicles until you have entered them at least one time, and then they start doing it?
I found something.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, if they implement that correctly, then that would be kind of like how, yeah. You ever see the Tremors movies with like Kevin Bacon?
Something here.
Yeah, remember how in those ones, well, I think you had to see Tremors 2, actually, yeah, Tremors 2 specifically, which did not have Kevin Bacon, unfortunately, but it had the other guy. In those movies, whenever they mutated into the little, like land-based, actually, they actually look a lot like scavengers now that I think about it. Huh, how about that? Yeah, the Tremors 2, the surface-based ones, they like had their little like flaps on their head and they opened them up and they would look around and they detected heat. And that's how they could find people in that movie. And so in that movie, they started destroying the vehicles and everyone thought that they had gotten really smart, but it was actually because after the vehicle had been used, the engine was hot, and so with their little heat detector flaps, when they looked at them, they thought it was prey, and so they went and they would attack the shit out of the vehicles that had been driven recently, and then they figured it out, you know, and so they only could see through thermal vision, and that I think that's kind of what's going on with this vehicle change. Although I guess if they're applying it to all three factions, it's not exactly that, because why would well, you know, on the one hand, if it's like something like the automatons, oh look. Let's see, what did I need to test on this guy? I can do like, I'll do like 30 meters, how about that?
Deploying non-lethal payload.
Six shots, that's about what I expected. Stoker versus Brood Commander. 6 shot to pop the head at 35 meters. Yeah, makes sense for max FRBs get destroyed fast. Today a gunship blew my FRB in seconds. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, like on the one hand it can be very annoying. On the other hand, I kind of like the believability aspect, because you know, when we roll through as players, you know, as Helldivers, like we see like anything on the map that's the enemies, whether it's a structure or whatever, and we fucking destroy that shit real quick, right? And So in some level, it's like, well, if the enemy rolled up and they see something that they know belongs to Super Earth or Helldiver, like, why wouldn't they blow it up right away? Now with the change that they're making and that they got to fix with the vehicles, I think it's a pretty reasonable trade-off that it's like, well, if it hasn't been used recently, then there's nobody around, so why would we spend the extra resources to blow it up, right? Versus if they say, oh, this vehicle was used recently, somebody's around, we should blow it up so that they can't come back to it or whatever, right? Like, I can kind of see, like, it kind of makes sense, kind of, in a way. Yeah, I mean, gunships in general are a legitimate, like, threat. Like, they're kind of a menace. Like, they will fuck your shit up in a hurry if you don't handle them. And I like that, because they're one of the few enemies in the game that's really like, oh shit, we need to deal with this. You know what I mean? Like, gunships are a menace. War Striders can still be a menace. And I guess, like, Factory Striders, like, if you don't see them in time, like if they sneak up on you or something, or you don't have the right approach, then they can kind of mess you up too. But I don't think anything is quite as menacing on the bot faction as gunships and Factory Striders. Those are really the only two that I find to be like an aggressive, like, we need to handle this now kind of enemy, Like, sometimes tower cannons can get you from far away, but that's not really that big of a deal. Bunker turrets, when you're approaching a fortress, can be pretty annoying, but at this point, like, you kind of, once you've done it a few times, you figure out, okay, I need to, like, snipe these things down before I get in range or whatever. You get a bunch of troopers, you get a bunch of berserkers, devastators and stuff. Like, yeah, they're powerful in numbers, right? But they're not individually gonna fuck your shit up. Not really. Stuff like that. Like, rocket devastators a little bit, but if you're shooting at them, it makes them miss more, and you can shoot their heads off, or you can just shoot their freaking rocket pods off, stuff like that. So it's much more doable, I guess, or manageable to, like, counter those. But gunships, like, they're aggressive, man. Like, they alternate between their laser shots and their rockets. Like, and they will mess you up. You got to take them down quick. And kind of the same thing for factory or War Striders. They alternate their firing modes as well, but they have a little bit more of a window whenever they're launching their grenades, I think, and you can dismantle them. But they definitely, War Striders are more of a problem when there's more than one and you're by yourself. Whereas, if you're with a team, then you can take them down a lot better. But if it's gunships, even if you're with a team, like, if you guys don't prioritize those, the gunships can mess your whole team up pretty quick. Yeah, gunships, back in the day when the gunships first came out, man, gunships were absolutely slaughtering players. I remember, dude, they would beat the shit out of you for a while because they were real tough and they had unlimited rockets. Now I think they have a limit on how many rockets they could fire at you, and then they switch to only their laser guns. So, which, kind of makes sense. I like that. So, but I like them. They're good. They're good challenge. Like, they mess you up pretty good if you don't pay attention, which is cool. Let's see. So I got my shot. Yeah, missile pistol humbled him. Yeah. One of the guns I like deal with that kind of enemy is actually the accelerator rifle, because you can snipe them from so far away, and like a one burst to the thruster takes them down pretty much, and from like any distance, it's quite nice. I like that accelerator rifle, man. It's basically a primary sniper rifle, like a dedicated, like, high damage rifle. It fires in 3-round bursts, but if you kind of, like, read between the lines, it's kind of like a low capacity, like, sniper rifle. It's kind of similar to the Eruptor in that sense. Like, the Eruptor has a really slow fire rate, and it only has 5 in the mag, and it has a really slow reload, right? Whereas the accelerator rifle is, you only get 3 bursts. Yeah, that's the one, the Killzone Warbond. But its damage distribution, it's over 1,000 damage per burst. So it's like its damage profile, like it's basically a rearranged version of the Eruptor, and it's focused into being like a precision shot rifle instead of like a boom, like small explosion sniper rifle, which is pretty cool. But it's real effective for dealing with those as well from like any range, because there's no, like it travels at like 1,000 meters per second. it doesn't wear out the way that like the Eruptor, I think it explodes after like 180 meters or something. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty fun. Okay, so we got 2 shots for that, 5 shots inside the 10, 6 at 35, which means it probably changes to 7 at like 45 meters. The Warrior probably changes to 3 at around the same 40, 45 meter mark. Something like that. Rotates from the magazine. I hope it rotated the body center. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, wrong button. Oh yeah, look at that. Wonder why that is. Must be related to like the overall shape of the object with like a spherical like reference point or something. Oh, this one's kind of similar. With that big old sideways magazine. Yeah, looks like they all do that if they have the sideways, if they have that side port. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, however their rotation thing is identified or placed, it must be centrally mapped based on all of the geometry, not just the main body of the gun. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I don't think we have any other. It's just those ones with the magazine sticking out the side. How about that? What other do we have any like that on the shoddy? Not really. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting though. All right, well, let's see. We got that one done pretty much, I think. And then a lot of these are following the same trajectory, it looks like. What playing the game for 600 hours does to a motherfucker, yeah. Yep. You start noticing those kinds of details, that's for sure. All right. Well, I think I might call it there. I feel like my brain is starting to go numb from all of these tests and math calculations and all this other kind of stuff. Maybe I'll come back in a little bit later and do some more, but I might just wait until tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna at least have to take a break though. I'm feeling worn out at the moment. So that was pretty good. Thanks for hanging out with me, man, and going through all this testing stuff. Good chatting with you, reliving the good old days back in the 90s. You have a good day too, buddy. I'll see you next time.